Alright, now that we got the landing gears assembled, we're going to go ahead and start on the rest of the airplane here. We'll put these aside for now. And the first thing I'm going to do is get some Blenderm hinge tape and hinge these elevators. I'll remove the tape holding them together. If there's any print involved, like on the ailerons, when you remove these, you can take your X-Acto knife and just dig underneath the tape just a little bit and pull it up. And then once you get a little piece, roll it off backwards like this. That'll prevent it from pulling any ink off. But if it's just on white foam, there's no problem. You can pretty much just pull on it. Alright, we'll start with the elevator. We'll get the Blenderm hinge tape. This is the 1-inch, and you can find it on my website under the accessories. It runs about $2 a roll. We're going to pull a strip off that's the length of the elevator plus a couple extra inches, and you can see through it. And I'm going to tack it down on this side, half on the elevator, half hanging off. And without stretching the tape, I'm just going to lay it down one side to the other, kind of crawl my fingers along, and then slowly start adding more and more pressure and push it down. Now with it upside down, we'll go ahead and trim off the excess. Now we'll take the elevator and we'll kind of start them at a little bit of a scissor here, and I'll start at one corner and get it lined up. And then slowly bring it together, leaving a few thousandths of an inch gap, if any. So we'll start with the elevator. It doesn't have any ink on it. Get a little practice doing it. There you go. Cut off or trim the edges. And then cut for this hole in the center. Remove that tape. And also remove the tape, or cut a slot where the elevator control arm is going to go. Make sure that tape is clear there too. It'll be real similar with the ailerons on the wing. We'll go ahead and put the tape half on the aileron itself. Leave plenty of overhang on the wing tip itself. Lay it flat. There you go. Flip it upside down, cut it off at the root. And working from the inside or outside, line up the print first. What I'm going to do, I'm going to bend this aileron, kind of flex it like this just a bit, and line up those numbers. Right there, got those 11s lined up. And then I'll slowly lay that aileron down at the tip. And then from there on, it should just lay flat and be perfect. Good gap. And trim off the excess. Like so. And then when you do the opposite side, you flip that aileron up. Pull yourself a piece of tape, plenty extra long. Go 6 millimeters onto the aileron, all the way across. Anywhere from 3 to 6 millimeters is fine. Trim your tape off at the root again. Whoop! I'll let it get away from me. You gotta hold it flat. It's gotta be up against the back of the aileron like so. And then I'll take my thumb and roll it down onto that first 45 bevel. And I'll flip it up like so. Finish it off with my thumb. Roll it over to the bottom of the wing. There's your hinge. And we'll cut off the excess off the tip. Use a good sharp knife for this Blenderm. It'll dull your blade pretty quick, and it's hard to cut with a dull blade. So start with a good new one. Clear out that little bit of tape where the horn's going to go through, and then we're going to do the same thing with the other aileron. Okay, now that we got the ailerons hinged, we're going to go ahead and remove the tape that's holding the spar in, and we're going to glue in the spar with foam safe CA and accelerator. Alright, I'm going to put the knife in the corner, pull that tube out. I'm going to take my foam safe CA. This is a medium CA. And I'm going to put a fairly good bead right down the center. Then I'm going to spray this spar with the accelerator. Drop it in the corner and lay it down flat. Here you might want gloves if your fingers are sensitive to glue at all, and you might get some pushing up. My fingers are immune to super glue, so I'm not using gloves, but you certainly may want to. And you will want to keep a paper towel on hand in case if some of the glue does start to run. I'm going to put a little glue on each side of the spar as well. Be careful where those landing gear holes are. Kind of skip that area so you don't get any glue going through onto the table. Lay in a good bead, especially out at the last 4 or 5 inches. It's important to have a good adhesion out there. And then I'll spray. Let it set a few seconds. And then we'll just slowly dab up some of that accelerator. Be careful, some of that stuff can start coming out later, so make sure you got a good amount of accelerator in there. You can see some, you push on it, you can see some bubble up. What we don't want to do is turn it around on the table and press on it and have it get stuck to the table. So we're going to make sure it's good and dry. Okay, now what we can do is set that aside, spar up, and we'll take our elevator we've hinged already, and we're going to attach it to the elevator, or to the fuselage, and we'll need some of this plastic, it helps. And we're going to line up that print. Is what we're going to go on. We're going to glue it together with that print lined up, bottom up. Foam safe CA right along the edge. Good amount. Spray this side with the accelerator, lay them flat. And wipe off any excess glue. And then slowly press them together. Print's nice and lined up, everything's good and flat. Hold them for about 5 or 10 seconds. We'll take a rag and wipe off any excess. Lift it off. Wipe off any excess here. And there, we're good to go. Now we'll take the fuselage profile. We'll remove the rudder. It's taped on. Remove these guys. And we're going to cut right through the center of these slots. And the cuts already started for you with these little holes, and we'll just finish these cuts off and separate this guy. Okay, so when it comes apart right there. Right through those slots. You'll have a little tab on each side. Now we'll take the rudder, set it aside, get the bottom of the fuselage and the bottom of the wing up, line up those holes in the center, and you take the bottom of the fuselage. You may have to pinch these little guys down just a little bit to get them to fit in there. Kind of helps to round them off with your fingers. Place them all down. It's all lined up, the motor mount's lined up in the front. All the slots are good. Now I'm just going to go ahead and tack it down. I'm going to put glue in between the holes. I don't want glue dripping down onto the table.